Hey, student, how are you? Welcome to our session on simplifying radical expressions. We're going to try these three problems. You could pause the video now and try them before we work through them. All right, here we go. Number one. First, let's deal with the number square root of 75. We're going to break up 75 into two numbers, multiply to 75, one of which is a perfect square. 3 times 25. 25 is a perfect square. 3 times 25, and then we still have x to the 8th power. Now we can take the square root of 25 out from underneath the radical. Square root of 25 is 5. And then we still have the square root of 3. 3's got to stay under the radical. Now let's take a look at the variable, x to the 8th power. When you are taking the square root of a variable, we will divide the exponent by 2. So we'll take the square root of x to the 8th power out from under the radical, and we get x to the 4th power. 8 divided by 2. Square root of x to the 8th is x to the 4th. And here's our final answer. 5x to the 4th power, square root of 3. Number 2. Number 2. Let's take a look at the square root of the number 81. Oh yeah, 81 is already a perfect square. So we can take the square root of 81 out from under the radical. Square root of 81 is 9. Now let's take a look at the variable, x to the 7th power. X raised to the 7th power. To take the square root of a variable, we will divide the exponent by 2. But 7 divided by 2 doesn't go in evenly. 7 divided by 2 is equal to 3 remainder 1. So we will have 9 times x to the 3rd power. 7 divided by 2 is 3. And then we need a remainder of x to the 1st power still under the square root, x to the 1st power. And here's our final answer. 9 times x to the 3rd, square root of x. And number 3. Number 3. Let's work with the square root of 500. We'll break up 500 into two numbers that multiply to 500, one of which is a perfect square. Oh yeah, 5 times 100. 100 is a perfect square. So we'll rewrite 500, 5 times 100. We still have our variables. Now we can take the square root of 100 out from under the radical. Square root of 100 is 10. And now we'll work with the variables. And we still have 5, and then x to the 12th, y to the 9th. To take the square root of a variable, we'll divide the exponent by 2. So we can take the square root of x to the 12th out from under the radical, and we'll get x to the 6th power. And we still have our square root, 5 y to the 9th. Now let's take a look at the square root of y to the 9th power. 9 divided by 2 is 4 remainder 1. So we will have 10x to the 6th power, y to the 4th power, y to the fourth power, and then remaining under the radical will be 5y to the first power. And let me box this in. Here is our final answer for number 3. That concludes simplifying radical expressions. Thanks so much for joining this session, and I'll see you next time.